Go. Welcome back, sports fans. Again, I have my co-host Cliff with me. This time we're talking about the NFC Championship game, the Eagles versus the 49ers. Now, this is my perspective. I still think the Eagles will probably win this game, but however, that guy Brock Purdy, who's Mr. Irrelevant, he looked a lot like Tom Brady when Tom Brady became a starter, and the same thing happened through injuries. So it wouldn't surprise me if he pulls this out, which probably people expecting probably Philadelphia's going to win. But then there's a lot probably think 49ers win with that great defense and that great running game. Also, Philadelphia has a great defense and a running attack as well. It's really going to come out to the quarterback who makes more plays and better throws. Brock Purdy looked pretty damn good, so it should be a close game. Wouldn't surprise me if the 49ers pull this out. You know, they're going to be the underdogs, and then going to the Super Bowl. I don't know what let's say they go to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if they would be favored. Probably the underdogs because of the quarterback position. But it could remind you so much of Tom Brady. And me and my co-host, we've talked about Tom Brady when he first came on the scenes, how good he looked. And they pulled out a championship. So it could be one of those situations. Now I'm going to ask my friend Cliff, what's his perspective on the game coming up. So Cliff, tell me, do you agree with everything I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly agree with that. There's definitely some. There's definitely. I don't know if it's a fair comparison to say he reminds you of Tom Brady. The thing that reminds us of Tom Brady is the fact that a quarterback comes in through injury, and next thing you know, his team is peaking at the right time, and they win a championship team.
Yeah.
All right, that's as far as the comparison goes, in my perspective. Because
well, it's hard to compare to the GOAT. You know what I mean? That's an unfair thing. But I'm just saying he reminds me of how that thing will break because he looks like he throws a nice pass, kind of like Brady. And if you remember, Montana looked very smooth too. So that's all I'm trying to say.
I get it, and I think I understand what you're trying to say, and it's if you look at the scenario of again, you were talking about us talking about Brady. You mentioned we were talking about that. What is he in the league? 18 years. 18 years ago when we had those discussions, he came out of nowhere. In the Drew
You said Brady 18 years ago.
I said Brady's been in the league for 18 years. I don't know how many.
I actually think he's in his 23rd year. Actually,
is it that long? Okay, so you're probably right. He's 45 years old. Yeah, so you're right. It's over 20 years. So yeah, from that standpoint, definitely similar. It's got the similar vibe. But let's get into it. The game. But before I get into that, funny how you invite me on a couple calls and all of a sudden I'm your co-host. I'm picking up on that now over the last.
God, you slow. Aren't you my co-host?
I am I? I don't know. You know when do the chicks come rolling in, baby? Come on.
Yeah, when they come rolling in for me first, and then we'll talk about that.
I'm joking. Okay. So here's what I'll tell you. Here's my perspective on the game. I'm going to tell you that I'm having a real difficult time. Usually when these games happen, I have a really good feeling about who's going to dominate, who's going to win. I don't on this game, and I'll tell you why. They're both very scary teams. Okay, when I look at San Francisco, they're such a well-balanced team. They got a great defense. They're the number one team against the run. Maybe they're not the number one team against the run, but I do know that they didn't allow a 100-yard rusher.
So I think they might have been the number one team against the run, if I'm not mistaken.
They probably are. So with a good defense like that, and when I look at their offense, there's three things I think of. Okay, I don't think of Brock Purdy. I think of Deebo Samuel. I think of Christian McCaffrey, and I think of George Kittle.
Also, Trent Williams, a left tackle.
Okay, I'm talking.
You got to give the quarterback. He's got to.
I'm talking about the playmakers, really. I'm not talking. Okay. Right, but those are the things that come to my mind. Now, when I think about that, I challenge anybody to give me three offensive players on the same team that are that dynamic. You got, and not to mention they also got this kid Mitchell right behind McCaffrey, who really is a legitimate number one. A legitimate,
good filling guard for them now.
What's that?
He fills in for them now. McCaffrey's taking over the starting role.
I mean, so McCaffrey, you can easily make the argument is the best running back in football over the course of the last few years.
Hopefully, he can stay healthy. That's the only knock.
I'm just saying, a healthy McCaffrey
Well, yeah.
If you look at what he's done in the last 3 years, is bar none the best back in the league. Somebody will argue that, oh no, this guy's better, that guy's better. But based on what he's done, he's the best back in the league. Okay. Debo Samuel, come on, that guy, he's a scary player. I mean, he's a physical wide receiver that really, he could probably be a legitimate running back on any team.
Exactly.
If you wanted to play that position.
Sometimes I would watch games, I thought he actually was a running back.
They use him that way. They use him that way because he is. I mean, he's very fast. He's hard to tackle. He's got great hands. He's a physical presence. And George Kittle, I mean, honestly,
He's a stud.
He's a stud. I mean, the only tight end that I would take over George Kittle in the league is Travis Kelce. He's the only. Nope, that I wouldn't take anybody. There's other good tight ends, but George Kittle is as good as they get, right? So when I think of their offense, I think of those three players. With those three players, you are going to be a tough team to beat, and that's definitely gives them an edge because they have those three players. The Eagles, okay, if I look at the Eagles defense, they're not great against the run, all right? So it's going to be interesting. I think that the offensive game plan is going to be establish the run early, and they're going to pound the ball with McCaffrey. They might do some dink and dunks to McCaffrey, but they're not good against the run. So the 49ers may try to just pound the ball early and then open up those passing lanes, and then
exactly. And also it'll slow down, like you said, it'll slow down the pass rush because Philadelphia, I believe, had 70 sacks this year. That'll slow them down if they get that running game going.
Right. So yeah, you don't sack a quarterback when he's handing the ball, right? You sack him when he's dropping back to pass. So if they're able to establish a running game early, I think if I am putting the offensive scheme together for the 49ers, that's what I'm going to do, knowing that the Eagles aren't great against the run. So establish the run early, and then hopefully you're able to put the pressure on them. And then, again, open up the offense a little bit. Now, let's look at the Eagles' offense, okay? 49ers, like I just said, they're really good against the run. So how are they going to game plan? And they have some threats too, obviously. You got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, and you got Dallas Goedert, right? Three serious threats.
What about the running back Sanders?
Yeah, they got Sanders, and certainly he's there. I guess there's the first back, and then you also got Gainwell, who put
He's had a 1,200-yard rushing season.
Yeah, no,
Plus, remember, Jalen Hurts also can run.
Yeah, you're right, and good point, because I don't know that the 49ers faced a team that had that kind of threat, right? That had
dynamic.
that kind of threat from the QB position. So yeah, you're the number one team against the run, but now you're facing a quarterback that likes to run. So it's going to be interesting to see how effective the Eagles' offense is going to be, and what they how they game plan. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you is, I know, so last week's game, CD Lamb had a pretty big game. All right. Is AJ Brown going to have that kind of game? And if he has that kind of game, this could be a situation where we see a lot of back and forth in a high scoring game. All right. That's the kind of game it could be. I don't see a blowout in either direction, to be quite honest with you. And I really don't have a feeling of who's going to win. I really don't. I don't know who's going to win this game. Usually I
have a feeling for
when I say this team's definitely going. I don't have that. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a great game. That I could tell you. That two good teams, two good offensive teams. 49ers have a really stud defense. Eagles have a serious attack. They pressure the quarterback like no other team, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of pressure they can apply on Purdy. Like I said, I think if the 49ers are able to jam the ball, start with the run and run effectively, it could be an interesting game.
Play time and possession. Also, easier said than done, obviously, but keep the Eagles out of the red zone, because that's what Jalen Hurts will kill you with his legs. If you keep him out of the red zone, then they're obviously gonna have to pass. They might be doing a better because I think Jalen Hurts. Now he missed a couple games, but I think he had 13 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me. Well, we'll see how effectively he can run the ball against the 49ers defense. I'm sure if they're smart, you know what they may do. They may pull an old Bill Parcells trick. They may have somebody just shadow the quarterback. That's probably what they're going to do. He's the first guy that I saw do that. It's probably more Bill Belichick under Bill Parcells when he did that. I'm trying to remember what game it was, but it was years ago. There was a running quarterback. It may have been Randall Cunningham or somebody, and the Giants just put they put
a spy on him.
Yeah, I think it was Lawrence Taylor actually. They just put they had a linebacker, and the linebacker was just really focused on containing the quarterback and making sure the quarterback wasn't able to penetrate through the line. And if I'm the defensive coordinator of the 49ers, I'm going to make sure that Jalen Hurts doesn't beat me. That's the guy that can hurt you, a quarterback like that, because you know what? When you have a running quarterback in a playoff game, it's any sign of trouble.
Yeah.
His instinct's going to be run the ball. His instinct's going to be if nobody's open, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to look for a gap, right? So make sure somebody's focused on closing in on him when he looks like he's going to run. So it's going to be interesting. Again, that's a great game. We talked about the KC Cincinnati game. I think we have really two good matchups this weekend.
Well, the one thing is, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I wouldn't want to bet on any of these games. If you said, "Oh, let's throw a bet," and go, I ain't touching it because it can go either way. So I'm like, no.
Well, you know what? I agree 100%. I love betting football, but I keep it to, FanDuel where, we bet a small amount of money on teams and stuff. But if I was doing a prop bet this weekend, I would take both overs. I don't even know what the under over is, but I would take both overs. That's what I would take. Because I think you're going to see you have two teams that they can put points on the board. But funny things happen in the play. If I say bet the over, I've seen plenty of games where you have two high-powered offenses. And for the first half, there's really very limited score. There's a couple field goals. So,
and any mistake here and there could change the whole concept of the game too.
Absolutely.
That's going to be the important factor to me. Both games, really.
Yeah, and honestly, I haven't even looked at lines. I don't even know what the point spreads are on either game. But I would say that you have both matchups. They're pretty tight teams. I mean, I think I could see. To me, they're like pick 'em games, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, Bill, all right. So I think that's a wrap. I told you what I thought of the game. Thanks for telling me what you thought of the game. And like I said in the last video, help this guy out if you're watching. Give it a like. Give the video. Share the video. And if you're not subscribed to Bill's channel, or I should say our channel, right?
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel, and I really look forward to seeing what content you're going to put out there in the future, whether I'm involved or not, right? So anyway, Bill, pleasure chatting with you, and until the next time.
Same here.
All right. I want to hear one of your stupid, "Go Buffalo!"
Go Buffalo!
All right.
There we go.
All right, bye.
See ya.